Welcome back to the Wealth Boomerang Show. We're chatting to Jamie McIntyre, the Director of 21st Century Education. And Jamie was saying that he didn't learn all these business tricks at school. His book's actually called What I Didn't Learn at School and Wish I Had. So there's some tips in there, mate. And along the way, you've also got to meet some amazing people. You got to meet Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, Tim Ferriss, Norman Schwarzkopf. Also, was it last year? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, so you got to mix with amazing mentors. What's some of the best tips that you've picked up from these guys?
Yeah, I think, for me, a lot of people say, how do you find a mentor? Like, they realise that can make a difference. But I say to people, like, well, before I got the chance to meet and learn off Richard Branson, the billionaire Virgin founder, I read his book many years before. So I'd already started learning a lot of business lessons, which transformed my companies. I learned off him and the power of branding. And many of my dozen companies today are branded with the 21st Century brand across multiple industries. And Richard was the first person to do that. Where he took Virgin and applied it to multiple industries where all PR experts said, well, you can't do that, it just won't work. But he was a rebellious entrepreneur and built a $1 billion fortune, and most people are raving fans of at least one or more Virgin companies to this day. So there's valuable lessons I learned there. So I think people, you don't necessarily have to meet your mentors in person to start learning from them. Governor Schwarzenegger and Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously entering into politics, he's been a great resource and a great help to share his advice and his lessons when he was mentored politically by the Kennedy family and people such as Ronald Reagan, and so have access to someone that's had a successful political career and has worked with some pretty amazing people. That insight is invaluable. But once again, reading Arnie's book Total Recall, one of the greatest books I think I've read in the last decade, because he's a real life example of what it takes to succeed, not just in one industry such as bodybuilding, but then to do it in business. And he was a millionaire from real estate investing before he made his big bucks in movies, and then had a political career. I don't think very few people have achieved that level of success in more than one industry. And I guess he's a great example that it's not luck. A lot of people might go, well, it's he's just lucky, or this person's just lucky. When luck can play its part, but it's not the defining factor. I didn't become a self-made millionaire in my 20s because I was lucky. Some people say, oh, Jamie was lucky, he got into the property market in the 90s before the property boom. Well, back then there was still 19 million other Australians that could have participated and did the same thing. I didn't have any money to get started, but I still managed to find a way to do it. So luck is not the defining factor.
Well, there's always a boom somewhere, isn't there? And when you're learning strategies from your mentors, you've also learned a lot of mindset skills, so you can be open to these opportunities as well.
Yeah, I often talk about, and then top coaches of sporting teams will talk about this as well. 80% of success is psychology or mindset. In other words, a good example of this is in Australia. I share with people, there's an interesting statistic. People that migrate to Australia are 4 times more likely to become self-made millionaires. And they're a great example because they have a different psychology and mindset. And to become wealthy or successful, whether it's in relationships or business or finance, whatever endeavor, you have to have a capacity to deal with uncertainty. And the challenge for immigrants coming to a new country, they're dealing with uncertainty because they're going to a whole new way of life. There's no certainty when they start out, so they have the capacity to deal with that. Me moving from a small country town of 6,000 people to a big city of 4.5 million people like Sydney, that's almost like being an immigrant in a new city. But you have to deal with uncertainty, because I have friends that have never left, never moved out of Glen Innes where I grew up, and but they have a higher need for certainty than me. So the greater your ability to deal with uncertainty in your life is, your greater your ability to become wealthy in any aspect, whether that's spiritually, emotionally, financially, in business, whatever aspect.
Jamie, you've dealt with a lot of uncertainty as you're building your businesses and ups and downs in different markets. You've made a lot of money in the last 15 to 17 years. You never ever have to work again. So tell me, you got the Ferraris, you got the yacht, you got the empire. Why do you actually do what you do?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question. A lot of people think that if people aren't doing very well financially, most people, the mistake they make, the only reason they work and go to a job on a Monday morning is because of a paycheck. And if they weren't getting paid, they wouldn't go. That's the problem. So a lot of, the key to life is to find something you'd love to do and then manage to figure out how to get paid for it. Because everyone admits the ideal career would be do something that you love and get paid for it. Or you have to become a successful investor so you can afford to do what you love and not have to worry about getting paid for it. So a lot of people think that, well, if you've got enough money, why would you keep working? But see, for me, what turned my life around, I decided to figure out what my purpose was, and I had a mission. And one of my missions, once I learned off my millionaire mentor how to turn my life around and achieve my dreams, I thought I could have been taught all these things at school. And I realized the reason I wasn't was that we had a 19th century education system at school, and we now live in the 21st century. The education system is hopelessly flawed and outdated. It hasn't been updated. And if it was, then people wouldn't have had to go through the financial pain that I did, because we could have learnt the things at school that we need to know. So I started the mission once I had the money to go, you know what? And some of my mentors said, we'll only help you on the condition when you apply this to your life, you share that knowledge. Because it's important to share, not keep it to yourself. A lot of people are like, well, don't share the secrets, just keep it to yourself. But what's it hurt if other people go out and replicate what you do? There's plenty of abundance in this world. So I set a mission. The last 15 years I've been living that mission, and that's how 20th century education was created, to go out there, how do we change the world's education system? Because I believe education is the key to prosperity and changing individuals' lives and changing entire countries' future. So that's what really changed my life, is tapping into a purpose. So I don't see it as work. So why, there's not a matter of material things. I achieved my material goals a long time ago, but I was never driven by the material things. I like to have the nice houses and nice quality of life, but that's really about sharing those things with your family and your friends and helping other people. It's more about contribution. And I think people tap into their purpose and their need for contribution, they'll be a lot more happier. The challenge, a lot of people, they're significance driven. So they want to have nice things so they can impress their friends. Yep. Well, how about having nice things by going out and contributing, making the world a better place, and have the nice things to share with your friends, not to impress your friends? There's a big difference in that.
So would you say that wanting to contribute is a much stronger motivator pushing you than actually wanting to have the stuff?
Absolutely. We all have certain human needs, and we obviously need to be significant as well. People want to feel special. But I would use Mother Teresa as the example. Like, she focused and dedicated her life to a mission and a purpose, and that's what we have to do. In other words, because she dedicated her life to helping so many people, especially the poor, she contributed in such a way and felt very fulfilled in her life. She becomes significant and world famous as a result of her contribution. But her goal was never be to significant. So I say people want to be rich or famous or whatever. Forget about wanting to be significant. Focus on contribution and become significant by making a difference in this world.
Oh, very interesting. So rather than wanting to be significant myself, I should focus on making other people significant and bringing it out there.
Yeah, making a difference to them, and as a result of that, you're more likely to become significant, because if you help someone, you'll be significant in their lives. And I've been fortunate enough, every day of my life, I get emails and thank you notes from thousands of people around this country that they've read my book or attended the seminar or been inspired and changed their life as a result. And that's very fulfilling to know that the work you do is making a difference.
Fantastic. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we'll have a chat about your future plans for the Australian education system. Thank you.